Hello. So in this video series we're going to tackle this shot where I'm going to take you through texturing, shading and lighting and finally the rendering, and hopefully that will wrap up another look development series. I'm going to try and keep videos in 10 minutes, each video to be at 10 minutes as much as I can, but I might go beyond that on occasions. So in this one I'm going to do in a way that UV mapping and texturing simple assets as I go through it. So if I've got something like this, for instance, I will UV map the wall and the shelf and the book. I don't need to UV map the bottles because they're going to be a mixture of glass with some, if I need to, with some roughness. And if you do need to have some sort of a label on these surfaces, you can kind of UV map part of them, or you can simply put duplicate some of these faces and put a label on top of it. If you need to have something like that, or you might just have a label as some kind of a surface relief, some kind of a bump, still glass but bumpy, and some kind of an engraved label. So anyway, I'm going to work between Maya and Mudbox. So if you don't know how to use Mudbox, check the previous videos that I've done. So to start with this, I'd like to UV map this object first, the wall. So in my setup, this is actually my front view, but somehow I set it up like this, but it's not a problem. I'm going to go to UV planar mapping option box, and what I like to do, because the red arrow is facing is the angle that I want to UV map this mesh, so which is the X direction. So if I pick X, keep image width and height ratio and press apply, I get this virtual camera taking a picture, and then if I go to UV editor, we'll find this. Now because the object is facing towards positive X, our camera is there taking a picture from the back of our object. It should be from the front, and that's why you get this red shaded view when you click on the shaded UV shell. So if I just double click and go to modify unfold, it's always good to check the options and reset them and apply, and it will do that. Another option would be, if you don't like this kind of a rotation, if I go back, you can bring your UV toolkit. It normally comes with the UV map window or UV editor. I'm using dual monitor, so mine is kind of jumped onto the other monitor. You can go to transform and just find the flip option. Here we go. Let's flip it along the U direction, and that's it. And we can also test to see whether it's stretched. So if you click on this button, you can see distortion options. If the stretch is color red, if it's compressed, it's color blue. So in this case, this is a simple mesh, so it should be fine. It's completely white, it means it's not stretched. You can also test to see whether something is stretched. This is as a revision. Click on this checkered box, and then if I just press number 6, or just have this texture option, all these checkered boxes are the same size, distributed evenly, so it means that we don't have any stretching going on. So that's that one. And then for the box, for the shelf, sorry, I'm just going to isolate it. I can go to UV automatic mapping. I've already UV mapped it, but I'm just going to do it from scratch for you. There we go. And it did a bit of an automatic mapping for me. And I'll turn on the checkered box. And it seems to be okay. But if you want, based on your shot, if you want to have a continuity between these faces, for example, you want the this front plate to be merged with the top, and because that's going to be visible to the camera, you don't want to have any seams, any cutoff points, so you can literally stitch them together. So in this case, if I double click on this top plate, I'm just going to move it aside, and so holding onto the right mouse button, I can go to edge, and if you select the border edge from here, let me just it's this one, I think. Let me just go, it's that one. It's going to pick that border edge like so, and it's going to also highlight the neighbor. In this case, there is something there you might not see it in the video. You can see it's been highlighted. So I can go to cut and sew, move and sew. So now that piece jumped from here to there. So now we don't have any border edges there. We used to have a border edge there. Now it's all in one. We don't have one, it's continuous. We can do the same in here. Cut and sew, move and sew. So now there is continuity between the side plate, the top and the bottom plate. It's all kind of one UV atlas. You can do the same for this one, for example. Double click in here. There is no continuous loop, so I'm quite confident in just double clicking and picking that piece. If there is a continuous loop, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that these parts are kind of unselected by holding on to control button, and then you can go and do that, and that jumped on there. The same thing for this part. Double click, that border edge is selected there, and we're looking for its neighbor, which is that small piece. Cut and sew, move and sew. And there is this extra piece left, which is this back side. Again, because we might have shots where we're always going to see the top of the shelf, so it's better to stitch that as well. And that's it. So that's our UV atlas for that piece, and we can double check by turning on our checkered box, and that shows us that there is continuity. You can see there is no let me just turn off this. There is no separation. You know, the label or the image is going to continue, it's going to bleed from top to the side and so on and so forth. So that's kind of continuous. But here obviously we've got the seams, but that's not important. So let's untick that, and let's save our file, and I'm going to de-isolate it. And as you can see, we've generated history, so I'll go to edit, delete by type history. That's important to keep it clean. The same on here. Press the G key to repeat the last step. I named my objects. As you can see, I put them into a group. So we've got this, and then we've got a shot camera, which is this object. I can go panels, look through selected, and just position my camera in a nice kind of a composition. Perhaps I can move the book a bit here, or the other way around, doesn't matter. And we'll save our file. So that's our scene setup, and I'm going to stop the video from here, and then in the next session we're going to start texturing the wall first. So thank you for listening.